All right, if your organizing business feels really slow right now, I need you to hear this. Having a slow season does not automatically mean that you are failing and that you need to throw in the towel because this just simply isn't working, okay? Every business goes through a slow season, and we're going to talk all about that. It usually just means that you need to do some different things in your business. You need to shift tasks and start working a little bit more strategically, and we're going to talk about planning and what to focus on. So in this episode, I'm going to walk you through exactly what to do, all of those different things so that we can bring in more leads, get consistent bookings, shore up your marketing, all these different things that you may not have had time to work on previously because you were working with your clients. Now you're going to have the time to dial that stuff in. We're going to talk about all of it so that you can stop spiraling, stop overthinking, and most importantly, stop reactively dropping your prices. Have you done that before? We're going to stop that. Okay. All right. Stick around. Let's get into it. What's up and welcome everybody to the Speak Organized podcast. My name is Melanie Summers and I'm your host and the go-to gal for all things pro organizing business. I like to speak organized to give you the tools to conquer your clutter, live life with more purpose, and learn all about the business of tidying. Please do me a favor if you haven't already, take out your snazzy little device and tap that subscribe button so that you become a member of the Speaker fam. And if you get value out of today's content, please go ahead and tap that thumbs up and the notification bell if you're watching on YouTube, so that you're notified whenever we post new content every single week. If you're an Apple Podcast user, you can give us that rave 5-star review, which helps boost the channel and help it reach more amazing folks like you who are looking to level up their game in the organizing industry. If you're watching today's video, you can see my absolutely crazy yellow frame glasses. These are gamer glasses. They're really good blue blocker technology for all of the time that we spend staring at our screens as business owners. So yeah, if you can see these snazzy little guys. No, I did not get glasses. I know they look kind of hilarious because they've got a yellow tint to the frame, but here we are, we're rocking them today. So I'm trying to be healthy with my eyes. If you're new to I Speak Organized, make sure that you go down to the description of the video and the podcast show notes to check out all of the goodies that we have available. There are tons of resources through I Speak Organized that have been built over the years to help you run a successful 6 or 7 figure business in the organizing industry. I also help tons of coaching clients in other small business, home service-based business industries as well, house cleaners, interior designers, all kinds of different people. So here to help you strategize all the things. Go check that out. If you're just getting started and you're looking to build that community, I have a great free Facebook group that's got about 7,000 members in it at the time of filming this particular episode. So you can join that group absolutely free. That again will be down in the description of the video and the podcast show notes. Now, I want you to stick with me. We're going to dive into this. And then in a few minutes, I'm also going to tell you a few ways in which I can help you in the organizing industry, especially if you're brand new or you've hit a place where you feel like, oh, maybe I need to hire a team member and I don't know how to do that. Or, oh, maybe it's time for me to raise my prices. Or you just have some things that you're unsure about. Again, I Speak Organized is the place where you can come to get those questions answered very affordably and really, really thoroughly. I am not a gatekeeper. I'm not the type of person to sit here and kind of dangle out some carrots. I really dive in and give you the best quality information that I possibly can, both for free and paid. So if you're looking to really get some skin in the game and make this 6 or 7 figure business a reality, I encourage you to stick around and listen to some of the resources we have available. We have courses, we have an affordable monthly membership program, we have all kinds of stuff that you can gain access to through I Speak Organized. So stick around for that. But first, let's get into this topic. All right, let's start by answering the biggest question. So I'm logging into Facebook, checking out the groups, seeing where I can engage with my community, and once every couple of months, this question comes up. Somebody gets on there and says, my business is really slow. What should I do? Is this normal? I feel so discouraged. I want to throw in the towel, so on and so forth. It's usually a variation of something like that. And the comments are always really interesting. And there's no real way to predict a specific slow season. The one thing I can tell you for certain is that every business is going to have a slow moment throughout the year. That is completely normal. We have had in our business, we've been in business for about 10 years, and every year we have a slow quarter, anywhere between 3 weeks of nothing to almost 2.5 months of nothing. Maybe we have some retainer clients, something like that. It definitely can freak you out when it gets slow and the leads aren't coming in or people are ghosting you and it seems to be kind of compounding. But even if it happens for a couple of months, as long as you're strategic about getting some retainer clients, working on some of your marketing and visibility strategies during that time, and being smart with your cash flow, you're going to be just fine. Just know that there's really no time frame in which that occurs every single year. It's not like the professional organizing industry goes dead from like December to February. You'll notice if you read up on those posts and you see people's comments, there's going to be some folks that are really, really busy while simultaneously somebody else is going to be completely dead at the exact same time. And it's different for us throughout every single year. Our sort of slow seasons happen in different quarters every single year. Can't explain it, don't really know why. There's a few things to kind of keep in mind, and we're not going to, again, make excuses or tell ourselves stories, but it's important to be strategic and think about these things and what levers you may need to pull based on the contributing factors. So, some contributing factors to why slow seasons happen. Time of year. And this is also going to be something you need to consider by region as well. So for instance, Christmas time in Florida, very different weather than Christmas time in upstate New York. And so the types of projects you're going to be doing, the frequency with which you're going to be doing them, the ability to travel, the safety, the weather, the temperature, all those things, very, very different. So you can't really compare your business to somebody who lives in a different climate than you do at the same time of year, because that does factor into it. The other thing to consider is different types of clients. So are you primarily working with seniors? Are you primarily working with busy, overwhelmed moms, entrepreneurs who travel a bunch? Very, very different clientele, have different priorities and different schedules. What are their family routines? So on and so forth. Local demand, another thing, if you live in a more rural area and you're having to travel versus somebody who lives in a very saturated large city like LA or Miami, even like Austin, Texas, places where there's a ton of organizers, it can really kind of factor into maybe you needing to niche down a little bit or work with a specific type of clientele or a specific service offering that you really want to go a little bit more strategically into so that you can stand apart from the general organizer competition. You can think about the economy as a factor. A lot of times during election season, or if there's a government shutdown, or if there's a war going on and oil prices skyrocket, those things definitely factor into whether or not people are going to spend money, especially in the home services industry. That might be one of the first things that people will cut for a period of time. It might not. For instance, during the pandemic, that was a time when our business went gangbusters because everybody was home. And so restaurants and in-person brick and mortar stores really suffered, but industries like ours started really booming. So you may experience the inverse of that in different economic circumstances. So again, factoring those things in, following, connecting the dots can be really helpful. Back to school shifts could be something where people are going to kind of wait until they get their routines going, so on and so forth. Post-holiday recovery, maybe people have spent way too much money during the holidays and they need to kind of recoup and get back into it for spring cleaning season, or there could be summer travel plans, all these different factors to think about. So again, we're thinking through this information, we're not panicking, and we're going to get strategic. So that's what we're going to talk about next. All right. I want to start by talking about what not to do first here, because these are all the emotional sort of knee-jerk reactions that people have. People attribute being slow to their worth and their ability to perform as a business owner. And they think that it's something that they've done wrong, or that people just simply don't want to work with them, or they're factoring in all of those things that we talked about and saying, well, that's it. I have no control over this. There's nothing I can do. The economy's in the toilet and nobody's going to buy my services. So I'm just not going to do anything. So the first thing that people do is they use those circumstances to make excuses and they disappear. So we're not going to do that. We're not going to disappear, and we're not going to assume that nobody wants our services. We just need to work on our visibility here a little bit. We're not going to start changing everything in our business out of fear. So a lot of times people will, instead of making strategic moves to grow or work into a different niche or something like that, they go through a very knee-jerk reaction and change something really abruptly in their business. One of the first things that people change is their price. They drop their prices down to feel like they're going to be a little bit more competitive. We definitely don't want to do that. We want to show the value around the business that we provide to our clients. And so that is going to maybe need a little bit of strategy, but it doesn't involve lowering your rates. Definitely not. And we don't want to waste the season of slowness simply by just worrying, posting in that Facebook group, like, is this normal? Has anybody else experienced that? What can I do for help? If you post that and I see that post in Facebook, you're going to get sent to this video because it's going to help you out. So we're not going to worry. We're going to get strategic. So if bookings are slow, it's not the time to shrink. It's the time to strengthen. All right, now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's talk about what to do so that you can use your time wisely in that period of slowness. So it's funny because every year when we hit that slow period, I have actually really learned to appreciate that time, because when we're super busy, I don't have time to work on my marketing and really dive into good video content for social media, or go to those networking meetings or other visibility strategies that I enjoy doing, because I'm busy doing proposals and phone calls and drive-bys and working on site with clients and managing my team's schedule and all these things that take up so much time and energy that I'm not really able to focus on some of the things that we're going to talk about in just a second. So I actually really like having a couple weeks, a month or so to really dive in on this and pull those levers. And I come to recognize that when I have the time to focus on those things, the positive effects compound and they snowball. And so then those next several months get really busy because of the effort I'm able to put into the stuff we're going to talk about. So the first thing that I want you to focus on is what's called a re-engagement campaign. So that's going to be reconnecting with people already in your world. So this is going to be past clients, old leads that have ghosted you. Doesn't matter how long ago they reached out to you. In fact, if they reached out to you a year ago, 2-3 years ago, even better, because they may be in a different state of mind. They may have had a previous experience with an organizer that they didn't like, or they may have tried to do it on their own and realized like, oh my gosh, I could totally use this help now. You just never know. So old leads could really work for you. People who said not right now. So didn't exactly ghost you, definitely seemed interested, but maybe weren't in the right frame of mind yet. And then referral partners. So anybody that you haven't networked with in a while, your realtor friend, your home stager friend, the plumber or the carpet cleaner that you met at that one B&I meeting 2 years ago, or whatever it is. Go through your digital Rolodex, pull some cards out, start making some phone calls, or send a quick text, see if you can go out to coffee with somebody, get back into the swing of those referral partner networking meeting moments. So that's the first thing. Offering people the opportunity to re-engage is actually very smart, because these are your warm leads. These are people that you've already built rapport with, especially past clients. So when we're slow and we haven't seen somebody for 3 to 6 months to a year, and they mentioned that they wanted to work on a project with us in the future, those are generally the people that we reach out to first to say, hey, you had your baby congratulations, how's it going? Start the conversation up with them again. Engage them and ask if they're interested in continuing to work through their house now that they're a little bit more settled with the new baby or whatever it happens to be. Starting up those conversations really goes a long way. Text or phone call, even sending them like a card in the mail or something like that, and then following up with them via phone call can be really, really helpful. So if you're just reaching out to check on somebody and send them something nice, and then maybe a couple weeks later, you give them a phone call, it feels a little less salesy and is a really good strategy. So definitely don't knock it, give it a try. The next thing that I want to encourage you to work on in this slow season is building your visibility. And there's different places where you want to try to be visible. This is a really much longer conversation that we could probably do an entire podcast series of episodes on, but we're going to keep it short. If you really want to go in depth into all of the different visibility strategies, join my membership program because we have a ton of training on it that goes very, very in depth on marketing, visibility, these re-engagement campaigns that we just talked about with templates and scripts and all kinds of different things to kind of help make it really super easy to do. But I digress. We're going to just kind of dive into the 30,000 foot bird's eye view option of building your visibility. So this is where you're going to start to flesh out some more social media content. And we're not just talking about Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. We also want to pay attention to platforms like YouTube Shorts because Google owns YouTube. So that will help boost your SEO. You also want to pay attention to your Google business profile. You can use that very strategically like a social media platform and start posting updates. That's also going to boost your ranking on Google and help infuse a little bit of SEO into your visibility so that as people are searching for organizers in their area, Google is going to see that you have an active presence online and hopefully they're going to boost your ranking a little bit. Again, that's one of those things that I teach really in depth, the SEO part of it. So just keep that in your back pocket if you know this is something you want to start working on. So here are some types of posts that we might want to create for that visibility. Helpful content. So not salesy. We're just simply trying to provide value and show our expertise. And we don't have to go above and beyond and spend 3 hours editing some reel in CapCut. This can just be really super simple content. So I'll give you an example. We just went to Disney World with our family for spring break. And so as I was packing all of our stuff, I decided to do a 5-part series about what would a professional organizer pack for a Disney trip. And it got really good engagement on social media. I was able to cross-post it to like 8 different platforms, and it was just helpful content. There wasn't really any CTA attached to it. It was mostly just to be helpful and be present online in everybody's world. So we're doing that. Another thing to do, answer common client questions. Anytime you get on the phone with a lead, anytime you do a Zoom call or an in-home consult, you're going to be getting questions from those people, and you're going to start to notice patterns. You're going to start to see where people are asking the same things or inquiring about the same things over and over again. So this could be your opportunity to answer those questions once and for all in a very short form, head video post just like this for social media, and answer those common questions like, how much does it cost to work with us? What does a professional organizer do? Any different thing like that. What's the difference between our package and our basic service rate? How do we organize playrooms? You don't have to have all of this before and after footage. Maybe you take a video of yourself tidying up your own home and do a little bit of a voiceover about, this is our 5-step organizing process. And a lot of folks ask me what is our organizing process? Here it is, just lay it out for them. Answer those common questions, post it online, post it as an update on your Google business profile. Boom, ready to go. Share your process. Another thing you could do is educate people on what professional organizers actually do. We did kind of touch on that just a little bit. So you could go and Google what professional organizers actually do, see some additional questions that kind of pop up automatically. So when you start typing in a query on Google, you're going to see a lot of other related queries populate below that. Those tend to be clues as to what people are already organically searching for related to the topic that you were looking at. So You can get some ideas of different questions that you can very easily answer and then put them into short form video content, just like this, talking head, maybe some B-roll clips. Maybe you want to go on Upwork or Fiverr and have a professional video editor edit some clips for you, like a whole big bunch of them, and then give you a stack of content and away you go. Pick a budget of some kind, like $150, and you want to spend to get 14 clips done and just film content answering questions. We don't have to go crazy here. Doesn't have to be super expensive or time consuming to outsource some of these projects to help boost your visibility in a way that maybe isn't your wheelhouse. It's a great way to get it done without adding a lot of extra stress and work to your plate, doing something that you don't necessarily want to do. So that's a great way to build visibility. All right, number 3, tighten up your back end. This is one of the most overlooked things to do during a slow season, and it can make such a big difference because when you are working in your business, you do not have time to do this back end stuff. And these are the things that will set you up for when you get busy and use the time wisely. So in addition to working on that visibility and getting some of that content created and working on reconnecting with your leads, I also want you to put in some time to update your website. So start thinking a little more strategically about your keywords. Maybe you're going to start niching into a specific service, or you need to create a service page for something that you want to try that maybe a lot of clients are asking for, like move management or photos and memorabilia or whatever it happens to be, concierge services. Maybe start to flesh those things out a little bit more and update your website. Learn a bit more about SEO. If you need help with that, come talk to me about it. Improve your inquiry process. So I teach a very strategic client onboarding flow that starts with our SEO strategy and moves people to our website to fill out our consultation form. So you should kind of work on how you want to get your leads to your website and then what types of information you want them to give to you in your consultation form to streamline that process. So you're not having to field every single phone call when you're on site. People can kind of self-select through your website. How are you going to make the process of getting proposals to them really super simple, or answering frequently asked questions? You can templatize a lot of this stuff and have it sent directly to a lead via email. So for instance, we get most of our leads through SEO, and then they fill out our client inquiry form, and it's connected to our CRM, which is our customer relationship management software. Currently, we use Jobber. I'll talk to you guys about that in a little bit. And through that, we're able to send out automated emails. So once a person has submitted our form, they get an automated email response thanking them for reaching out to us. It feels very genuine in terms of how we've written it with the copy, to just make sure that they know we respect their time and we know how hard it is to reach out for help with things like this. And so we feel so honored that you did that, blah, blah, blah. And then give them some sort of next steps. So upload some photos and videos of your space so that our consultation, we can make the best of it. Give us a few more details if it feels important to you. You can put in frequently asked questions of, what's our process like? How much does it typically cost? What's the starting cost, barrier to entry, so on and so forth. So having that type of system set up to support a lead who might be doom scrolling at 3:00 in the morning and find your website and fill out that information while you're asleep is just such a game changer and has been really, really helpful for us and for our business and keeping things rolling without letting leads fall through the cracks. So that's where having a really good CRM and inquiry process can come into play. Other things, you can clean up your pricing guide. So if you maybe want to work on raising your prices, or you want to start working in package pricing or project pricing, or implementing add-on fees for certain things, getting a little bit more strategic about how much you're going to charge for donations or how much you're going to charge for labels and design and shopping and all those things, how you're going to start weaving those in to your pricing strategy. Again, if you need help with that, I sound like a broken record, but it's true. Stop guessing and just come and talk to me about it. That's what my membership program is for. So we talk about all that stuff. Creating better follow-up systems, same thing. So you're offboarding and following up with those past leads. So this is where you can kind of double up on our original strategy of reconnecting with previous leads. So maybe you want to set up some sort of offboarding flow to follow up with people automatically after it's been, 30 days since your last project with this person. They'll get put into an automation that follows up with an email or a text message of like, hey, how you doing? Maybe you want to follow up and try to get some reviews from past clients. Maybe you haven't been very good about following up with that. And now is a great time to boost your SEO ranking by getting some reviews under your belt. So you can look at doing that as well. So yeah, I feel like that's a lot of information to take in, some really good things that you can focus on and what not to do. Now, because I get a lot of questions about this, I wanted to address it specifically because now that you have this downtime and you want to fill it, one of the most important things that, as I mentioned, is shoring up your back end because you don't have time to work on those things. And so this could be implementing some of the more tech-heavy automations and solutions. And that's where, for us, Jobber comes into play big time because I realized during our first really bad slow season 2 or 3 years ago that I was the bottleneck. And I was kind of keeping everything going. And I had this realization of like, well, if I get sick or my kids get sick or something goes down and I'm not able to follow up with that lead or send that proposal or solve this scheduling issue myself, my business is going to suffer. I'm not going to be able to ever go on vacation because I'm constantly going to have to be dealing with putting out fires all the time. And so that's where a platform like Jobber can step in and take care of so many things for you in terms of automation. So for instance, one of the things would be that hands-free office. So there's a lot of templates and automations that Jobber can be set up for so that your clients can kind of walk through something. So for instance, giving somebody a quote or sending them a pricing page isn't really something that I do anymore because when somebody fills out our consultation form, they get all that information sent to them automatically. And so they can kind of self-select. They can choose a package that they want. We may need to tweak and customize it a little bit after we see the space or whatever it is. But generally, we have a great understanding of the client's budget ballpark, which is super helpful in customizing anything. And I didn't have to lift a finger to do any of that. I didn't have to get on the phone with them. They could fill that form out, like I said, at 3:00 in the morning while I'm sleeping, and a quote is sent to them right away. So that's just one example. You could also have templates set up so that people can get the contract sent to them automatically based on the certain parameters. Maybe they've picked a basic service that they want from you and they have the ability to see the schedule that you have and pick their own time slot. And they can sign the contract and do all of that while you're asleep or while you're on the job or while you're walking your dog or hanging out with your kids, whatever it happens to be. Jobber gives you the ability to automate a lot of these processes. And I find for myself, when I was running my business primarily on my own, I was spending a lot of time doing these admin tasks. And now this tool kind of does it for you. So I highly recommend this for if you're a solopreneur who's growing really rapidly and you need some admin support, but you don't necessarily have the cash flow to support paying an actual individual to do that. Jobber takes care of automating a lot of those things for you. You also may want to look into this if you are growing and scaling a team and trying to coordinate all their schedules. There's a find a time, calendar, Tetris, magic sort of integration that you can use there in Jobber as well. So if this sounds like what you need and you're just done with all the admin work and you want something to take on some of the heavy lifting for you, go down to the description of the video and the podcast show notes. I've got you covered. I have a free trial link available for you. And if you end up signing up because you love it, then you also get 20% off your first few months. So it's definitely a no-brainer. There's no credit card required. Just check it out. Give it a try. You have nothing to lose. If you don't like it, just cancel after the free trial. It's not a big deal, but it's worth at least taking a look and seeing what all the features are available for you, especially if this is the phase of your business that you're in. You just need that help. Just get the help. Take the help. We all need it. Highly, highly recommend it. You won't be sorry. Next thing, nurture local relationships. All right, so we did talk a little bit about getting in touch with your referral partners. Now let's expand on that a little bit and think a bit more outside the box. So you're going to, since you have a little extra time on your hands, and you're going to get your booty in the car and you're going to go meet some people in the community. And we're not talking about B2C here. We're not trying to sell to customers. We're not going into the Pilates studio and being like, hey, you need a professional organizer? Like, I'm here to help. We're not doing that. Nurturing local business relationships. So I'm talking about realtors, movers, interior designers, therapists. For instance, our niche is ADHD organizing. And so it has been instrumental for me in getting strategic contacts in the therapy and mental health space. So I will often go to therapist office for families, especially offices that work with neurodivergent clients, both, families and adults, whatever. We work with all of them. So having that connection and going and speaking to the practitioners at that office, very, very helpful for us. Leaving our business cards. They ask, our business cards run out at therapist offices. And so they're calling us and asking us to bring more frequently. So those are great. Community spaces. So libraries, community centers, Pilates studios, bar studios, Orange Theory. We go to a lot of health and fitness clubs to find contacts and work with those people. I actually work as a fitness instructor at our local health club. And so everybody knows what I do, and I have no problem posting flyers, tearaway flyers and things like that at our gym. So that works out really well. Other local business owners. So think about somebody who runs a kid play space, like a kid museum or ice cream shops, coffee shops, you name it. All of these people have clientele that come in. They probably have a community bulletin board and a space for you to put up flyers. So get your booty in the car, go talk to some people, go knock on some doors of some businesses, strike up conversation, make some connections, and start dropping off flyers. Offer to do, an organizing seminar at the library or something like that. Moms groups, another great place to get your foot in the door with the community. Not only can they ask you back for speaking gigs and start paying you for those speaking gigs, creating another stream of revenue for you, but it also introduces you to your potential ideal client. We've done that there's one church in the area that has a moms group that has had us back multiple times. In that moms group, there are some grandmas who are part of the senior Bible study for the senior citizens. And so they have paid me to come and speak for a completely different demographic and different topics. So, all of the sort of web of connections that you create will continue to stick you in different places. And it's really, really helpful. It's a great way to meet people and find potential clients. Last thing I want to touch on is just some strategies for different types of content that you can create. We talked a little bit about the visibility posts and talking about, what organizers actually do. Now I want to give you a little bit extra because you know me, I want to make sure that you're set up for success here. So when you are creating demand building content, so you're wanting to think of things that hook people in. Here's a few examples. So talk about why people wait too long to get help. You can obviously, without breaking confidentiality of a previous client or a story that you've heard or a friend or family member, you can just generally talk about those things from your experience of why you think people wait too long for help. You can also Google it and just share that information as a resource. Speak to the overwhelm. You want to do this in your marketing. You want to do this in the copy on your website, on your social media. You want to make sure that you are speaking to the overwhelm because that shows that you understand how your potential clients feel and that you are there to help them overcome this emotion. A lot of our clients are super overwhelmed and they just want to know that they have somebody in their corner that's going to be able to fix their problem. So the first step to that is making sure that they know that you understand. Showing transformation. So having some before and after photos can be really helpful. Your process, talking about your process. If you don't have a ton of before and after content, you can create it in your own home. Even just some good old fashioned after content. If your home is already super organized, you don't need to mess it up to fix it, you can just show some super simple systems and things you like. Just talk about the things and put the camera on, make it part of your daily routine for a couple of weeks just so that you start building some content. Share what happens when somebody finally gets support. Again, this doesn't necessarily need to be a visual. It could be you telling a story, talking directly to the camera about that information, just keeping it short, snappy, punchy, to the point, and talking about that transformation and what it finally feels like for that person to get support. And lastly, teaching people how organizing improves their everyday life. So you can look at, people love statistics. They love facts and figures, anything with a percentage or a number or a fun fact. People love data. So if you can share some sort of fun fact about people with ADHD, did you know that they spend on average 3.5 days looking for stuff that they've lost every single year or something like that? Some sort of trivia question that you can kind of unpack and talk about. People love stuff like that. Those types of posts do really, really well on social media and can definitely help you out. All right. So now we're going to wrap this all up with a quick win. All right, this is what I want you to do. This is your homework assignment. If you ever join my membership program or you take one of my courses, you're going to get worksheets and you're going to get a set of simple instructions with a script that you can use to take action and make it super easy. So we're going to do the beta test version of that today for you. Okay, so you might want to pause the video, go grab a notebook of some kind, a little pen, and find a tab and start writing stuff down. Okay, so here's my quick win homework for you for today. I want you to make 10 contacts, and this could be anybody. So this could be checking in with a past client. This could be checking in with a warm lead or somebody who ghosted you. This could be people who inquired but never booked. This could be a referral partner. It could be you getting yourself to, wherever, the library, and handing out business cards. It could be you wearing a t-shirt with your business information on it and striking up a conversation at the grocery store. Make a little checklist, and every time you make a contact with somebody involving your business, check it off. Make sure that you have that person's information. Follow up with them, all these different things. So that's my simple homework for you. I have a little sample message that you can write down. So you can say something like, "Hey, Cynthia, I had you on my mind and I wanted to reach out. If getting support in your home or business is something you've been thinking about, I'd love to help you map out next steps." Very simple, personal, low pressure. Again, this is just a template of how you could say it. I don't necessarily encourage you to say it exactly like that. I want it to sound like you. This is just the structure that you can work from to kind of reword and make it sound a little bit more genuine, depending on the relationship that you have with this person and how you reach out to them. So low pressure, reopen a conversation. This is going to help versus endlessly posting and hoping that somebody reaches out to you. So start with that. It's going to be an absolute game changer.